Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. My name is Martin, and if you asked anyone who knew us, they'd say my wife Jenny and I had a great marriage. We had been together for 5 years, and on the outside we seemed happy. We had a nice home, steady jobs, and a routine that felt normal. To our friends and family, we looked like the kind of couple that had it all figured out. But behind closed doors, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. See, our fights were never explosive. No one ever threw things or screamed. But it was the little things, the sarcastic remarks, the dismissive sighs, the way we both avoided real conversations. I'd say something, and Jenny would roll her eyes. She'd complain about something, and I'd brush it off. Resentment didn't hit us all at once. It crept in like a slow poison, small drops at a time. And eventually, those small things turned into something bigger, something neither of us could ignore. I just didn't know how bad it had gotten, until the night she said something that changed everything. It was a Thursday, one of those days that drained the life out of you. I had been stuck in back-to-back meetings at work, my boss breathing down my neck about deadlines, my phone buzzing nonstop with emails. By the time I walked through the front door, all I wanted was to eat, sit on the couch, and not think. But the moment I stepped inside, I could feel it. The tension. Jenny was standing at the sink, washing dishes with too much force. The way her shoulders tensed, the way the plates clinked loudly against each other. It wasn't just dishwashing. It was frustration. She glanced at me when I walked in but didn't smile. Just a quick stiff, "Hey!" "Hey," I muttered back, kicking off my shoes. I knew something was coming. We had been off lately. Conversations felt more like transactions. Eye contact was rare. I couldn't remember the last time we had laughed together, not the polite chuckles, but the real belly-deep kind of laughter. And now, in this quiet, airless house, it felt like I had walked into a storm cloud just waiting to burst. Dinner was silent. We sat across from each other, barely speaking, the only sounds coming from our forks scraping against the plates. I tried to act like I didn't notice, scrolling through my phone between bites, but I felt her staring. And then, it happened. I don't even remember what started it. Maybe it was about the dishes, or how I forgot to take out the trash, or something she said that I half listened to because my mind was somewhere else. But suddenly it wasn't nothing anymore. "You always do this," Jenny snapped, shoving her plate away. I sighed, already exhausted. "Do what?" "Act like everything is fine, like nothing ever bothers you, like I'm the only one who gives a damn." I dropped my fork, rubbing my face. "Jesus, Jenny, can we not do this tonight?" Her voice sharpened. "Right, because talking is such a burden for you." I should have let it go. I should have just stood up, left the room, anything to stop what was coming next. But I was tired and fed up. "And you never stop nagging," I snapped back. The second I said it, I knew it was the wrong thing to say. She scoffed, pushing her chair back. "Wow, so now I'm a nag?" "I didn't say that," I muttered, already regretting it. God, Jenny, sometimes it feels like nothing I do is ever enough for you." That's when she laughed, but not the kind of laugh you want to hear, not the kind that comes from being amused. It was short, cold, sharp. A laugh that said, "Oh, you think you've had enough? Watch this." Then she looked straight at me, right through me, and said it. "You try so hard to act like a man, but let's be honest. You've never really been one, have you?" Everything stopped. The air went out of the room. My heartbeat slammed in my ears. I stared at her, my mind blank for a second, before everything in me collapsed in on itself. Jenny's face changed the moment the words left her mouth. I saw it, the quick flicker of realization, the split-second regret. But it was too late. My mind wasn't even in the room anymore. It was somewhere else, somewhere years ago. She had no idea what she had just done, no idea how deep that cut went. I didn't yell, didn't argue, didn't say a single word. I just turned around and walked away. Here's what Jenny didn't know. When I was a kid, I was always the smallest one in my class, always the last one picked for sports, always the one people made jokes about. In high school, my girlfriend at the time broke up with me for some football player. When I asked why, she just shrugged and said, "You're just not enough for me." I carried that with me, everywhere. I built myself up, worked out, acted confident, tried to be the kind of guy people respected. But deep down, I still felt like that small kid no one took seriously. I never told Jenny about that. I never told anyone. And now? She had taken that secret, that insecurity, and thrown it back in my face. How do you come back from that? Days passed. Jenny tried to fix things, made my favorite meals, tried to joke with me, even touched my arm when she passed by. But it didn't work, because I had already made up my mind. Some things you don't come back from. And the moment those words left her mouth, I knew we were done. A week later, the divorce papers came. I had filed for them without telling her. There was no point in dragging this out. No point in pretending we could fix something that had already shattered. The envelope sat on the kitchen counter when I walked in that evening. Jenny stood next to it, her arms crossed, her face unreadable. I barely had time to set down my keys before she spoke. You really did it. I sighed, running a hand through my hair. Yeah, Jenny, I did. Her voice shook. So that's it? That's just… what? The end? I exhaled, slow and controlled, because I knew where this was going. What did you expect? She blinked, and for the first time in days, I saw something in her face that almost looked like fear. Martin, we've been together for years. You're really throwing it all away over one night? I let out a short, humorless laugh. This isn't about one night. She stepped closer, searching my face like she was looking for some sign that I was bluffing. But it was just words, she whispered. You know I didn't mean it. I stared at her, shaking my head. Yeah, Jenny, that's the problem. You didn't even think before you said it. That's how easy it was for you. She swallowed hard. You don't think I regret it? I don't care if you regret it, I said, my voice steady. You made it clear you don't respect me as a man, that nothing I do is ever enough for you. I'm not staying where I'm not respected. We don't have anything left to say, Jenny. I didn't wait. I walked straight to the bedroom, pulled out a suitcase, and started packing. Shirts, jeans, shoes. I didn't bother folding anything. I just needed to leave. Jenny followed, her voice breaking as she pleaded with me to stop. She stood in the doorway, eyes red, hands trembling, begging me to talk, to give this another chance. But my mind was made up. She reached for my arm, but I stepped away. Her voice grew desperate, turning from anger to heartbreak. But it didn't matter. Nothing she said could undo what had already been done. I zipped up the suitcase, grabbed my keys, and walked past her. She stood frozen in the hallway, tears streaking down her face, watching as I left. I drove to a hotel that night. And I never went back. Word spread fast. Friends, family, co-workers, everyone eventually learned that Jenny and I were over. Some people were shocked, others not so much. Either way, the messages started coming in. I'm so sorry to hear about you and Jenny. If you ever need to talk, I'm here. Divorces are tough, man. Let me know if you need a drink. I ignored most of them. I wasn't in the mood for sympathy or advice. There was nothing to say, nothing to explain. The decision had already been made, and I wasn't interested in justifying it to anyone. But then I got a message that I didn't ignore. It was from Anna, Jenny's best friend. Hey, Martin, I just heard about you and Jenny. Crazy how things turn out. If you ever want to go out and have a drink, let me know. Might take your mind off things. I stared at my phone for a long moment, my thumb hovering over the screen. Anna. She had always been friendly, maybe too friendly. The subtle glances, the playful teasing, the way her hand would linger a second too long when she touched my arm. I had caught it before, but I never acted on it. I was married. She was Jenny's best friend. That line was never supposed to be crossed. But now things were different. There was no line to cross anymore, nothing holding me back. And deep down, if I was being honest with myself, I had always found Anna attractive. Maybe that was why my fingers moved before my brain could argue. Yeah, let's do it, I texted back. We met at a bar downtown, a quiet place, dim lighting, the kind of spot where no one really paid attention to who came and went. Anna was already there when I arrived, sitting at a table with a cocktail in her hand, her legs crossed. She looked good, too good. Hey, stranger, she said, smirking as I sat across from her. Long time no see. I chuckled, shaking my head. Yeah, been a long couple of weeks. She tilted her head, watching me. How are you holding up? I shrugged. I'm here, aren't I? Her lips curved into a smile. Yeah, you are. There was something in her eyes, something dangerous. We talked about the past, about old memories, about how insane it was that Jenny and I were divorcing. But as the drinks kept coming, the conversation changed. She leaned in closer. She laughed a little softer. She touched my hand, her fingers lingering. And then she said it. I have to be honest, Martin, she murmured, tracing the rim of her glass. I always wanted you. I froze, my heart kicking up in my chest. She smiled. But I couldn't do anything, because of Jenny. I swallowed hard. And now? She looked at me through her lashes. Now she's not here. There was no hesitation after that. We kissed. Right there in the bar, like two people who had been waiting for the moment forever. And when she pulled away, breathless, she whispered, "Let's get out of here." One thing led to another, and that night I didn't go back to the hotel alone. The next few days felt like freedom. I rented an apartment. Nothing fancy, just a decent place to clear my head and start fresh. Except I wasn't exactly alone. Anna and I kept seeing each other. And for the first time in a long while I was having fun. No tension, no silent treatment, no pointless fights. Just drinks, laughter, and nights that didn't end with me sleeping on the edge of a bed, wondering what had gone wrong. Meanwhile, Jenny had been texting me. I miss you. Can we talk? Please, Martin, just answer me. I never responded. I had nothing left to say to her. It was late afternoon. Anna was at my place, still in the bedroom, while I sat on the couch, scrolling through my phone. The atmosphere was easy, comfortable. For the first time in a long while, I was actually enjoying how uncomplicated everything felt. Then came the knock. A hard, urgent knock. I frowned and got up. When I opened the door, I froze. Jenny. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Eyes red, makeup smudged, like she had been crying for hours. Martin, she breathed. I didn't say anything. She stepped forward. Can we talk? I sighed, already done with this conversation before it even started. Jenny, there's nothing to talk about. Her lip trembled. I was wrong, okay? I shouldn't have said what I said. I was angry, but I didn't mean it. I folded my arms. That's the problem. It was too easy for you to say it. I know, she whispered, and I regret it. I regret everything. Just please, let's fix this. Let's try again. I shook my head. I don't think that's a good idea. Then, before she could argue, a voice spoke from behind me. Baby, who is it? Jenny's face changed instantly. I turned just as Anna walked out of the bedroom, stretching lazily, wearing only my shirt. Jenny's face went pale. The silence was thick, suffocating. She just stood there, staring at Anna like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. Anna smirked. Oh, hey, Jenny. The air in the room shifted in an instant. Jenny's shock melted into something darker, something ugly. You, she breathed, her voice shaking. You were my best friend. Anna tilted her head, feigning innocence. I know. Crazy, huh? Jenny's fists clenched. How could you do this to me? With my husband? I cut in. Ex-husband. Jenny turned to me, her eyes burning. You really went for her? Out of everyone? Anna let out a low laugh and leaned against the wall, watching the drama unfold like it was a movie made for her. Don't sound so shocked, Jenny. You never appreciated him. You just pushed him away. Jenny snapped. You whore, she spat. Anna just smiled. Thanks for giving him to me. He's the best I've ever had. The words hit. I saw the way Jenny's entire body tensed, her nails digging into her palms. And for the first time in years, I saw something I never thought I would. She understood. She realized that I wasn't the problem, that I was worth something. And I smirked. Jenny had spent years making me feel like I wasn't enough. And now? Her best friend was standing there telling her I was the best she'd ever had. Get out, I said, voice calm. Jenny's eyes snapped to mine. Martin. No, I cut her off. We're done. You need to leave. Her lower lip quivered, but she didn't argue. Maybe she realized there was nothing left to fight for. I stepped aside, and after a long hesitation, she turned and walked away. And I didn't watch her go. For the first time in years, I felt light. No more fights. No more walking on eggshells. No more feeling like I was never good enough. I let out a slow breath and glanced around my apartment, the new space, the fresh start. I wasn't sure what came next, but for once I was actually looking forward to it. The past was behind me, and the future? It was finally mine to decide. Thank you for watching.